There are about 40 million unregistered macro businesses in Nigeria. These businesses are set to benefit from a conditional grant scheme being implemented by the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, otherwise known as SMEDEN. Most of these businesses located in rural areas will be supported with a grant of 50,000 naira. And the ARISE correspondent, Georgina Ndukwe Ezayinka, tells us more.
For the last 5 years, Nigeria's Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency has been providing financial support to small businesses. These businesses are unregistered, run in the rural areas with little funding, and may not have bank accounts. Chances for this category of businesses to grow are very slim. The conditional grant scheme will address this. Owners of such businesses will be trained, officially registered, and a sum of 50,000 naira given as grant to boost their profit margins.
Conditional grant scheme is a scheme that was established in order to cushion the effect of lack of formalization in our MSME subsector in the country. You are quite aware of the fact that about 98% of the Nigerian macro businesses are informal.
The 50,000 we give a micro business. You'll be surprised how much they improve their business with that. So it may seem like it's small amount of money, but it's a lot of money when you give it to the person that knows how to use it, because we're going to give them entrepreneurship training. What we give them in the entrepreneurship training is just a simple basic training like bookkeeping, how to source their market, how to keep their records, how to calculate their profits, how not to touch the business money.
6 commercial banks are here to sign a memorandum of understanding with the agency. The banks are saddled with the responsibility of distributing the funds to the business owners.
And I want the commercial banks to take this as a challenge to provide a better opportunity for easy access of the macro businesses to this grant. It is important to disburse the grant as much as possible, as early as possible. We don't want a situation the banks will keep the money in their account without disposing it as at when due. It's expected of you, once the money is posted into your account, you should send it to the beneficiaries.
A minimum of 90 to 100 persons will benefit from this scheme.
We have state offices in all the states. So from time to time, like every 3 weeks, 3 months, from the head office we go. But from the state offices every month, somebody goes and sees what they are doing, how they change, if they need any advice, they need to change something, maybe how they are doing their business. We interact with them and see how they can do it. But we also hope to, after a while, we gauge their performance and we give an award to the best performer.
This program is what a lot of us entrepreneurs have been aching to be a part of. And I thank Madam for this vision. We hope that this would further strengthen and deepen our relationship. And I look forward to us reading about success stories, impacts of this program on all the beneficiaries.
This year, the scheme will cover 28 states out of the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. The remaining 9 states will be covered by 2022. Georgina Ndukwe Ezayinka, ARISE News.
All right, thank you so much, Georgina Ezayinka there. To discuss this further, we're now joined by Dikko Radda, the Director General, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDEN. Glad to have you join us, Dikko.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start by asking you to explain what this grant scheme is all about.
Thank you very much for this question, and I think this is one of the flagship programs of the agency. Conditional grant scheme came into being in the year 2016 because of the growing need for it. The issue is that we have more than 40 million MSMEs that are informal, out of the total of 41.5 million MSMEs that we have in the country, based on the survey that was conducted between SMEDEN and National Bureau of Statistics in the year 2017. And I think it is important for us to design a program which will formalize the informal sector, because the chances of growth from the macro to small to medium is dependent on the formality of the businesses, and the chances of growth is high if the business is formalized. So the whole essence of the conditional grant scheme is to put up some condition to enable the MSMEs to achieve the grant. But what are these conditions? The conditions are: you must have entrepreneurship training, which is going to be provided by SMEDEN. After the entrepreneurship training, we now provide a bank account for you at their doorsteps. We ask the banks to open the account free of charge, and then we now register you with CSC, so that we are registering you with CSC free of charge. After the registration, we now give you a grant of 50,000 to improve on what you are doing at your business level, and to enable you employ one additional person into your business. Okay. So by doing that, we are creating more employment opportunities for Nigerians. We are providing more opportunity for you to expand, and then we are formalizing you. And the chances of you to grow if you are formalized is very high. And that is what SMEDEN want to achieve. Okay. So the grant is only a motivation to those MSMEs, but the essence is to formalize them.
In motivation, you aim to formalize, because like our correspondent said, they are unregistered and they are in the rural areas. So I wonder what businesses will benefit from this scheme. How do you, I mean, you've mentioned the criteria to be able to be part of this, but how do you know what businesses would then partake in it?
You know, what we do is we do a very, very thorough job by going directly into the rural areas, identifying people who have existing businesses, and then meeting them at their business premises, taking their addresses and taking the details of what they do, irrespective of which trade you are doing, either balkanizing, either akara seller, whatever kind of micro businesses you are doing. The essence is to help you formalize, and then identifying you. Normally what we do is, in each local government of the federation, in each local government we identify about 100 MSME macro businesses, and after identifying those 100 MSMEs, we ensure that there is equitable distribution within the local governments, depending on then we ensure that people belongs to different wards, electoral wards in those local governments, so that we give a little separate in those local governments. So far, with this year's implementation of the project, we have covered 28 states, and each of the local governments in these 26 states, we have picked 90 to 100 beneficiaries, that is macro businesses. By the year 2022, we'll be able to cover the remaining 9 states, including FCT.
All right, Dikko, let's talk about impact. How will this impact on small and medium-scale businesses across the nation and the economy? And how do you monitor usage for the purposes that you're giving this?
Yes, I think we have done a very good job on that, because we have even provided a performance award among all the beneficiaries. That means at the end of every year, we make assessment of every MSME through their transactions in their banks, so that we can be able to know who are those who are more into it, who have performed better, and we have an award of 150,000 to three best performing macro businesses in each of the local governments. So with that performance award, it will enable us to gauge the performance, to gauge the impact, and to be able to measure how they are able to move their businesses from one step to another to ensure better economic development of our country.
It looks well planned, I must say.
Yeah, let's talk about sustainability. How sustainable is this?
I think it all depends, because SMEDEN is an agency that relies on the federal budget. And then by that, we have started this program from the year 2016, and we have continued on the program, and we are almost always getting a better funding on the project, because last year we were only able to go to 6 states, but this year we'll be able to go to 12 states. I think it's a very big achievement. We have been getting support on the project, and then it's giving us the impact we are needing. All
right, before we leave you, I'd really like to know, you talked about training. How are you going to organize the training? What is involved really?
I think in every local government, we will train the beneficiaries within that local government in entrepreneurship training. This entrepreneurship training involves at teaching them how to run the business, how to keep their records, how to know the kind of profits they are making in the program, and then a lot of other account bookkeeping and the rest of all those trainings. This is what we are giving to them, because is doing a business is another thing, and then having the capacity to run the business and sustain the business is another thing on the other hand. So I think what we are doing by giving them entrepreneurship training is to ensure that we have built their capacity and they will be able to the task to face the challenges in the economic cycle.
You talked about equity, but I was wondering, you know, how equitable, when you talk about equity, is it just about the regional spread, when you talk about gender or age? But we have to leave it there.
Honestly, we have considered all these things: gender. We have considered the equitable distribution within North and South. We have ensured equitable distribution even within the local government, so that every other person is benefiting from it.
We'll be keeping an eye on this story and this development, and we'll wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully it works out.
Thank you so much.